And joining us now, Delaware Governor John Carney, who is part of the group of East Coast governors teaming up to coordinate just when and how to go about reopening. Thanks so much for joining us, Governor.
Thank you, Lindsay. It's good to be with you.
And as you've heard, President Trump says that he has the ultimate authority on reopening states. What's your response to that?
Well, first of all, now's not the time to have an argument or fight with the President of the United States and our partners at the federal government. Now is the time to work with our federal partners to sort out the future. First of all, to make sure that we're flattening our curve here in the state of Delaware, and we've got a state of emergency, a declaration in place with a stay-at-home order, with a traveling quarantine from people coming from out of our states. We've joined this coalition to help the governors think through how do we restart our economies, how do we have a rolling recovery, as people have referred to it. My good friend, the governor of New Jersey, Phil Murphy, says it's not like flicking on a switch. It's more like a dimmer switch where we're going to move and open the economy gradually, and we'll be working together as part of that coalition. I was excited to join because I know we'll get access to the best thinking, the best science, and we'll base our decisions here on Delaware on the situation on the ground and the data and the science that's directing us.
Is it too early to talk about a timeline when that might happen for Delaware or in general along the East Coast?
Yeah, I do think it's way too early. You know, we're still seeing an increase in the number of positive cases, about 8% a day. Our hospitalization rate is a little bit lower than in other places across the country, and that's a good thing. It enables us to have hospital capacity, particularly for the most vulnerable populations, our senior citizens. But we're still seeing an increase in positive cases, an increase, although slower, in hospitalizations, and an increase, sadly, in deaths here in Delaware.
And as you say, we're having this conversation about reopening states as cases continue to rise, people continue to pass away. How do you walk that tightrope of balancing the economy and saving lives?
It's a very difficult decision. I think the decisions to open the economy back up are going to be even more difficult than the decisions to close it down, because it really is uncharted waters. At what point in the curve do you start turning on that dimmer switch and start opening up businesses? I hear the anguish in the small business owners on the phone that I talk to all the time. The fear that they're going to lose their business. I hear the anguish from people that are unemployed and want to go back to work. But we have to have a healthy community before we can have a healthy economy again. And it's not a false choice. We have to have both, but they have to be sequential. We have to have a healthier community and then be able to start turning on the economy and getting a stronger economy again. And that's really the challenge before us, and we really need to work together as governors here in this region, working with our federal partners and the White House Task Force as well.
Until there's a vaccine, are you worried that the virus could come back in the fall, say, and Delaware and other states would have to go through this all over again? I mean, essentially, is there a way without a vaccine for people to try to go back to normal?
I am worried about that, and I'm worried about turning that light switch on a little bit too quickly and having what I've heard referred to as a rebound. We certainly don't want that. You know, ideally, we don't want to turn the economy back on a day too soon or a day too late. Meeting that happy medium is going to be really challenging, and that's why doing it and making those decisions with the other governors in our region, led by Governor Cuomo's, really had the most difficult situation there in New York, and our thoughts and prayers are with him every day. But our other states in that region and here in the greater Philadelphia region, in the lower part of our state, there on the shore, have a different situation, and we'll make decisions here based on the facts on the ground, but with the help and assistance and guidance of that coalition.
A lot of people around across the country have homes on Airbnb. Delaware, for example, is a state that has a large amount of second homes on the beach. And with the summer rental season approaching, do you anticipate allowing people to rent out their homes? And what about businesses that rely on so many tourists?
Yeah, well, right now we've shut that down. It's one of the last things, the most recent things that we did, because it was creating a problem for us with people coming in. You know, we're a small little state, and we're bisected by the Interstate 95. That's the main corridor north and south here on the East Coast. and by the Amtrak Northeast Corridor. And so we've got a lot of people coming across our border. And that's why it's important to work with the coalition to see if we can coordinate the reopening. So something is not open somewhere else or open here where it's not open somewhere else. We have people streaming across our borders. We had that situation earlier in March around St. Patrick's Day with bars and restaurants and with our beautiful beaches on a beautiful spring day that we had. And that's one of the reasons to coordinate with the other governors in the region.
Are you and the other governors open to working with additional states in order to come up with a cohesive plan?
Yeah, absolutely, and we do through the National Governors Association. Governor Hogan just over the line in Maryland. He's our chair, and he's doing a wonderful job leading our group. We have a couple calls a week on the conference call with the White House, with Vice President Pence and their team. We take the information that they provide us kind of on a national scale in terms of protective equipment, testing capacity, the science about recovery, and all of that. And so we do. We use the experience in other states, the experience across the country, and the experts at the federal level for our response and for our decision-making. And that's the way it should be.
Governor Carney, thank you so much for your time and insight tonight. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.